SML, a series where a grown man plays with plushies, gets sued by big corporation, and gets yelled at by man children. Now imagine if it had hyper-realistic eyes. Exactly, I've been watching SML for longer than I want to admit. I was watching since the Junior era, and for those who aren't autistic enough to know what that is, basically back when Junior was the annoying spoiled brat of the SML verse instead of Jeffy, and Chef Pee Pee used to be the Marvin of the series. And I remember as a child in 2014 and remember seeing a creepypasta reading about Chef Pee Pee, which seems to be lost media now by the way since I can't find it on YouTube or even a mention of it online. Basically, the pasta as I remember was about Junior annoying Chef Pee Pee, and Chef Pee Pee being on his period, snaps and grabs a knife and stabs Junior, Bowser, and everyone else that annoyed him in the fucking old SML house. And if all that sounds familiar to you, it's because SML Creepypastas haven't changed a bit since then. Literally, the entire character snaps genre of SML Creepypastas still exists to this day. The very creepypasta I described to you has been remade dozens of times. I mean, look at I'm Sorry Chef Pee Pee. It's basically the same pasta except Chef Pee Pee is a fucking zombie. Alright? And hell, you can just replace Chef Pee Pee with any character, and that's basically 90% of all SML creepypastas. Character gets mad and goes on a rampage and kills everyone. Ooh, super scary. And if you don't believe me, watch Major Spook's SML Creepypastas Iceberg. It's literally the same pastas over and over again. Character gets mad, goes on a rampage, ooh, brutally kills the SML cast, story ends, and boom. And when it isn't the character snapping, it's literally a ripoff of Sonic.exe and Squidward's Suicide. A person finds a lost video of SML and it involves hyper-realistic Jeffy fucking haunting the screen and fucking going after the protagonist. And there's two things I think SML creepypasta writers need to understand, even though I know a lot of them are under the age of 13, but let me give it to you bluntly. This is never going to be scary. Like, I'm sorry, it doesn't matter how many hyper-realistic bloodshot eyes you add or how much blood you add onto the character. None of the SML cast is ever going to be terrifying or unironically scary or unironically gonna give me nightmares. Or literally, even give a fucking toddler nightmares. Because how are you gonna look at Jeffy, even with fucking blood and sharp teeth and go, wow, I'm pissing my pants right now, dude. And another thing, most of these creepypastas are fucking cliches from 2014. Guys, it's 2045. Even the pastas you're inspired by are now considered awful. Jeff the Killer, Sonic.exe, Squidward's Suicide. Yes, they were, well, they weren't even good in their eras, but still, they worked for back then. But now, if you look at barded creepypastas, read barded creepypastas, listen to barded creepypastas, that's simply not the genre. Alright? Nobody finds this shit scary anymore. It's fucking outdated. And the fact that SML creepypastas have not changed one bit since 2014. Like, there's literally so much you could do with SML, alright? And it doesn't even have to involve the characters. It could involve the fucking cast like Marvin's Anguish. By the way, check out Major Spook's video if you want to learn more about that pasta. You could do so much with it. Or like, look at the pasta I made. It's based on the SML community and its fucking unhinged antics. The SML community as its own has so many fucking lolcows that would be fucking terrifying or would make for a good pasta. I made a pasta where an SML fan thinks that Marvin and the others are genuinely real characters and does fucking satanic rituals. That's a good idea. I'm ego boosting myself here, but you can do so much with SML without doing the fucking cliches. Now, a lot of you are wondering what can the SML creepypasta community do to improve upon its writing and make, dare I say, potentially scary and even better pastas. Well, this is what this video was made for. So I'm gonna give my honest critiques and advice for any writers or anyone who wants to make an SML creepypasta on how to make better stories. So you might be curious about what stakes are. Basically, stakes are what drive the main character in a story to work super fast towards his objective. For instance, in Sonic.exe, if you don't destroy the disc and play the game, Sonic will burst out of the game and snatch your soul. And then there's the antagonist. The antagonist is someone or something that challenges the protagonist, making his goals harder to obtain. For example, Sonic.exe. Sonic is out to kill you, and your objective is to survive. Their goals kinda conflict. Pretty simple to understand, right? Now, the issues with a lot of SML creepypastas are there aren't really any stakes, nor a good antagonist. A lot of them, as I mentioned, is just the author, who tends to be the protagonist, finding a SML spooky lost SML video, and that's it. The SML characters either commit gore or there's hyper-realistic eyes. No, a regular person will see this and get weirded out, but won't pay any mind to it. Remember, this is the internet and people make weird shit about anything for art projects. The SML wiki, for example, is a great example of that. So there has to be a reason for the protagonist to be scared. In the NES Godzilla creepypasta, the author just dismisses the game as a ROM hack until the game literally starts doxing him, and that's when he realizes the game is not just a typical ROM hack but something else entirely. And for God's sake, even Sonic.exe managed to get this right. This isn't just a typical scary Sonic ROM hack, there's a fucking demon haunting it and it snatches the person's soul. Keep in mind, the antagonistic force in your story doesn't even have to be a monster, nor a person. In Marvin's Anguish, the antagonistic force is Logan's emotional distress and anger due to almost being sued by Nintendo, which causes him to lash out and go insane and stab the SML plushies in anger. What I'm saying is that when you're writing these stories, the horror must affect your protagonist on a personal level, or there has to be something deeper to it. The horror isn't meant to be just jump scare or gore, but something meaningful that affects your psyche and your mind and your soul. Which brings me to my next point. The amount of SML creepypastas that use a lot of gore, especially in the character snaps genre of pastas, is oversaturated. Puppets being ripped to shreds is not scary, and most of the time it isn't important other than cheap scares. Here's some honest advice: if you're gonna do gore, do it minimally. The description of some puppet having its head bashed in isn't that scary, it just makes the story longer than it needs to be. Make it essential to the story. A bad example, Squidward's suicide. The dismembered corpse of the children had no purpose than to scare you cheaply, and nobody even questions which sick person did this and just broadcasted it to an entire staff at Nickelodeon. But if you look at 1999, the gore is minimal, and it is essential to the plot, because we know that Mr. Bear is a satanic cult figure who murders children because of his satanic religious belief. The core idea here being is that when you use gore, jump scare, or any horror tactic, it has to mean something to the bigger story you're trying to tell. Granted, the bigger story you're trying to tell isn't shallow at all. A while back, I was writing a creepypasta on a satirical visual novel known as Class of 09 as a shitpost on my YouTube channel. While writing it, I was going for a Sonic.exe story with a Class of 09 until I realized the hyper-realistic formula doesn't fit this.
Like the rest of us?
You could say that. Why are you here?
Just some bullshit with Mr. Horvitz, that sheeny shit-faced fucking fairy. I wish the Holocaust happened.
What was that last part?
Class of 09, like SML, is a comedy, and as such, making it scary is, while not impossible, but a difficult task at hand. And I just realized you can't just rip off Sonic.exe and call it a day. You need to make your pasta seep connected to the source material you're using. For example, with Sonic.exe, it didn't need to be a Sonic pasta. The demon could have chosen any other game protagonist and the story would have been the same, except different characters would have been killed, as evident by how many EXE clones we had in the 2010s. Then there's Squidward's suicide, which makes more sense since Squidward is a nihilistic character who has been used for suicide allegories before by the writers of SpongeBob. Best SML example of this is Marvin's Anguish, again, by a very good creepypasta, which is about Logan and his pain of losing the rights to the plushies. A story which fundamentally only works within the SML framework, because Logan's experience is definitely a heartbreaking one. Imagine spending 14 years of your lives using characters you love from a franchise you love to express yourself and use it to express your passion for comedy, only for the people that made your childhood to strip that away from you. So my last and most important advice is that when you're making an SML creepypasta, you gotta ask yourself, how and why is it an SML creepypasta? How does it connect to Super Mario Logan? Does it have to connect to Super Mario Logan? Could it work with any other franchise? Like with Sonic.exe, again, you can replace Sonic with anyone else. The story would be exactly the same. So you gotta avoid that. You gotta make sure that it works and only works with SML and no other franchise. Again, another example of me, when I made my SML creepypasta, the core idea is connecting it to SML, alright? And the antagonist of my story is again a person who believed that Mario and the others are real beings being used by Logan. So he does satanic rituals to try freeing them, which involves animal sacrifice. So that story and that antagonist only works within SML, alright? When I look at a lot of SML creepypastas, I notice that you can replace SML with really any franchise or TV show and it would be the same. Chef Pee Pee Snaps, you can do it with SpongeBob. Just replace Chef Pee Pee with Squidward and replace Junior with SpongeBob. See what I mean? So you need to make sure that your story connects well to the source material you're using. And that's my last piece of advice to you. So this is officially the end of the video. I'm glad you guys watched it all the way through and I hope you guys enjoyed it. The core idea isn't to demean these writers. I actually appreciate the effort because not a lot of people actually put in effort. And failure is a path to success. So I genuinely do hope that the SML creepypasta community improves and writes better stories. And I think we are reaching there because I have noticed that the SML creepypastas have started to diversify, alongside the cliche ones. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope any SML writer watching this takes note and makes something fruitful or scary, dare I say. So yeah, this is Nelvin. Peace out. See you in the next one.